Hi, BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. So low disk space, as you may well know, can affect your PC's performance on Windows 10 and Windows 11 and can cause errors, especially when you are trying to update different browsers and software on both OSs. And a common error due to low disk space on Windows 10 and Windows 11, as an example, is when you are trying to update Microsoft Edge, and due to the low disk space, it generates an error with the error 0x80070070, and the message reads as an error occurred while checking for updates, failed to cache the downloaded installer, and that's because there's not enough disk space on your computer. And this can also be the case with other apps like OneDrive and so on. But this is a common error when trying to update your Microsoft Edge browser, as an example. So if you do find yourself seeing this error, 0x80070070, then here's a couple of things you can try to do in case you're unaware to free up some storage and disk space on Windows 10 and Windows 11, so you then can download and update your apps. So the first thing I would suggest is head to your File Explorer and head over to your Downloads folder. And if there's anything in here that you're not using, or there's just a whole lot of junk in your Downloads folder, then I would delete everything out of my Downloads folder. Now, as you can see, my Downloads folder is empty, and that's because I don't treat my Downloads folder as a permanent storage solution. I treat my Downloads folder as a temporary storage solution, and I basically, as soon as I download something, if I want to keep that file or folder or image or whatever, I archive that and I'll put it into the relevant folder on my device or in the cloud. So delete anything you're not needing in your Downloads folder. And then it goes without saying, you can run the legacy disk cleanup utility. And if you don't know where that is, you can just do a search for disk cleanup and you just click on OK. And that will take a second or two, depending on your hardware and the speed of your device. And that will do a check for all the junk files on your system. And I would just check all the boxes. And something else you can do to take this one step further, you can click on Clean Up System Files, and I would do exactly the same. And that should get rid of quite a lot of junk and temporary files on your system, in case you haven't run that tool in a long time, or if you haven't run it at all. Then something else you can do is head to the more modern settings storage sense by heading to your settings system, clicking on storage, and here we go. It'll do the same thing. What it's going to do is check your system for temporary and junk files. And just on a side note, if you don't want to do this on a regular basis, you can just toggle on storage sense, which will automatically free up space and delete temporary files when it detects automatically in the background that your system is getting too cluttered. Now, this may help you if you're not really too much into the everyday running performance of your PC. And I personally don't like to keep this on because I don't like too many things running in the background on my PC if I don't have to, due to the performance and the processes running in the background. But you can, from time to time, come over to your storage sense and you click on Show More Categories. And then what I would do is click on Temporary Files. Once again, check all the boxes, and then I would remove those files, and that should also clear up some storage space for you to download and update your browsers and your apps. And if that still doesn't work, then something else you can try is head back to Settings. This time head over to your apps, installed apps, and in this installed apps list, what I would do is I would go down and see if there's any apps you're not using, or maybe you didn't know were maybe installed automatically in the background without your knowledge. I would scroll down your installed apps list and delete any app you're not using by just simply clicking on the three-dotted menu and uninstall that. And on Windows 10, it's a similar. You just click on the actual entry, and that will then show you the uninstall option. And then I would uninstall some apps that you maybe are not using or haven't used in a long time. That should then get rid of that error 0x80070070. And as an example, you would then after that be able to download the latest update for Microsoft Edge, as an example, and update your different apps and services. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.